Hello everyone, I am Desy Natalia NPM 24,411,176 from the Management Study Program at Technocrat University. I will explain the definition and functions of management. Definition of management. Management is the process of planning, organizing, implementing, and controlling resources to achieve organizational goals effectively and efficiently. It involves decision-making and coordinating people and other resources within an organization. General functions of management: planning, setting objectives and formulating steps to achieve them. Organizing, arranging resources and establishing an organizational structure to execute the plan. Implementing, executing the plan by mobilizing and motivating human resources. Controlling, monitoring and evaluating results to ensure goal achievement and making adjustments as necessary. These functions are interrelated and essential for ensuring that the organization operates effectively. The definition and functions of management according to experts vary depending on the perspective and approach used. Here are some definitions of management from various experts. George R. Terry. Management is the activity of planning, organizing, directing, coordinating, and controlling resources to achieve desired. Henry Fayol. Management is a distinctive process consisting of planning, organizing, actuating, and controlling to achieve predetermined objectives through the efforts of Harold Kuntz and Cyril O'Donnell. Management is the art of getting things done through others. This means that managers are responsible for directing and coordinating the activities of others. Peter F. Drucker. Management is a distinctive process consisting, according to Drucker, management is a practice that deals with people, tasks, and measurable responsibilities. And it requires a balance among all these factors. Management functions according to experts. George R. Terry. Planning, determining goals and how to achieve them. Organizing, arranging resources to achieve the goals. Actuating, motivating and moving organizational members to execute the plans. Controlling, supervising and evaluating performance to ensure it aligns with the plan. Henry Fayol. Planning, defining future directions and strategies. Organizing, structuring the organization and tasks. Directing, giving instructions and motivating staff. Coordinating, integrating activities to achieve common goals. Controlling, ensuring everything proceeds according to plan. Luther Gulick. He developed the concept of Posdikorb, which describes the functions of management as planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, budgeting in general. The functions of management include planning, organizing, leading, and controlling resources to achieve organizational goals. Management was introduced to Indonesia through a process closely linked to the history of colonization, education, and the development of the economy and industry in the country. The modern management system known in Indonesia today is the result of the adoption and adaptation of Western management principles. Introduced during the colonial era and further developed in the post-independence era. Influence of Dutch colonization. Management systems were introduced to Indonesia during Dutch colonization. At the time, Indonesia, known as the Dutch East Indies, was a colony governed by the colonial administration. The Dutch established large companies like the VOC, Verenigde Oostindische Company, one of the earliest business entities to apply management principles in the management of resources and trade. The VOC used administrative and organizational approaches to manage the spice trade and exports of natural resources from the. Additionally, the Dutch colonial government established educational institutions aimed at training colonial officers and local people to work in the colonial administration. This education introduced the basics of management, especially in terms of administration, corporate management, and governance. Industrial and educational period. After the VOC era ended, management continued to evolve in Indonesia as industrialization by the colonial government increased. As sugar, coffee, tea plantations, and mining operations were established, modern managed industrial and educational period. After the VOC era ended, management continued to evolve in Indonesia as industrialization by the colonial government increased. as sugar, coffee, tea plantations, and mining operations were established. Modern management practices became more relevant. These companies began using scientific management principles, particularly regarding production efficiency and labor organization. MED practices became more relevant. These companies began using scientific management principles, particularly regarding production efficiency and labor organization. During this colonial period, higher education also started to develop in Indonesia, with the establishment of technical and administrative schools, such as Rechtshogeschool te Batavia and Technische Hogeschool te Bandung, now Institut Teknologi Bandung, ITB. These institutions played an important role in introducing management knowledge to the Indonesian intellectual generation, which later became a driving force for management application in the post-independence era. Influence of the United States and Japan. After Indonesia gained independence in 1945, Western management influences, especially from the United States, became stronger. This was facilitated by international cooperation, economic aid programs, and overseas education opportunities for Indonesian students at American universities. By the 1960s, scientific management concepts by Frederick W. Taylor and administrative theory by Henry Fayol were widely studied in Indonesia. During this period, universities in Indonesia, such as Universitas Indonesia and Universitas Gadjah Mada, began offering management and economics programs. In addition to American influence, Japan also made significant contributions to the development of management in Indonesia, particularly after the 1970s. Japan introduced total quality management, TQM, and lean management to Indonesian industries. Many Japanese companies investing in Indonesia implemented management principles that focused on efficiency, quality, and human resource management. Role of the Indonesian government. The Indonesian government also played an important role in developing management, especially through policies for sustainable economic development. During the New Order era, under President Suharto's leadership, the government supported economic modernization by building infrastructure, increasing foreign investment, and improving the bureaucracy. In this context, many government agencies adopted modern management principles to enhance efficiency and productivity in public services. The government also established various educational and training institutions focused on management, such as Institut Manajemen Indonesia and several MBA, Master of Business Administration, programs at leading universities. These programs were designed to produce professional managers capable of leading companies and organizations in Indonesia according to global management standards. Globalization and technology era. Entering the era of globalization in the late 20th and early 21st centuries, information technology development also influenced management in Indonesia. Many companies began implementing enterprise resource planning, ERP, systems, data-driven management, and business analytics in their operations. The internet and digital technology facilitated the adoption of more efficient and transparent management practices, allowing Indonesian companies to compete in the global market. As the digital economy grew, Indonesian tech and startup companies like Tokopedia, Gojek, and Bukalapak adopted new management models that were more dynamic and adaptive. In line with the rapidly changing needs of the tech industry, this model often combines traditional management with modern approaches such as agile and lean startup. Conclusion. Management was introduced to Indonesia through a long historical process, starting from the Dutch colonial period, Western education influences, and continuing into the era of globalization and technology. This process involved a blend of classical management theories adapted to local conditions, along with influences from developed countries like the United States and Japan. Over time, management in Indonesia has become an integral part of economic growth, human resource development, and organizational efficiency across various industrial sectors. Thank you for watching.